Not even a year later, but at the end of that year, like in April, like before the school
Yeah,
was
I
over.
remember. I reached out to you, didn't
Yeah,
I? I sent you a message during that time. I'm pretty sure I did.
yeah,
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 that
yeah,
was
yeah. I bet you
crazy.
did. Yeah, and then, well, I was there in September. In August, my grandma passed away in November. Then my mom passed away in April, and that year was pretty tough because 5 months later, after my mom was gone, one of my uncles passed away too. So it was a
Oh my
pretty tough
God.
year, man. And many people in my family, after my mom passed away, like they talk like she's not gonna come back. Like, but I was saying like I'm just coming back for my mom funeral. I have to go back and end my school year, my classes, everything, my exams, everything. Like I couldn't believe like they think
You
that
was gonna
because
quit? They thought you was gonna
by
quit?
by by that day I knew like that was my escape. I
Right.
mean I had my 4 years of school like just only had to play basketball and be good at the school, like as easy as that.
Mm-hmm.
It is not easy, but you know what I'm
I
saying.
know what you're saying.
So I knew my mom was feeling just safe or good, like just thinking like she's gonna be good like the next 4 years at least because she have an education and she's gonna be playing basketball and pursuing her dreams. So that was my mindset.
Right.
So after my mom passed away, I finished my sophomore year. I graduate and I transferred to Louisiana Tech. This is a D1 school in Louisiana. We were in the Conference USA.
Mm.
I had another good options to go, but I think by the time I thought it was a good decision for me to go there. But I think I precipitate myself just for the fact I wanted to go at D1 school, and
Explain.
maybe I could develop myself in a D2 school. But I guess I had to go through that year because now it was an awful year, Arnold. Like it was an awful year. I was so depressed because things didn't go as I wanted.
Uh-huh.
So
On the
I
court.
started mixing, yeah, on the court. On the court, yeah, I was good at classes though. I was a good student.
What's up, guys? I just dropped my new ebook, Six Must-Have Steps to Be an Overseas Basketball Player. You know, I've been playing for the last 9 years. I got all the steps and the traits that you need to start your journey with networking, with getting a mentor, all the things that you need to start your journey to be a protege. So go get that ebook, click the link in the bio, and make sure you get your steps to being that overseas pro one day. Let's go.
But it just they didn't play me, and it wasn't like I did something wrong or I was. It just their decision. They only
Mm-hmm.
play 8 players in the whole year, and things every week got worse for me. Like I was so depressed, and coaches. I feel I don't even want to talk about these coaches, but I don't know. It was a tough year for me. Thanks God, like the assistant coaches, they were there for me
Mm-hmm.
and they were encouraging me because I was really depressed because I started mixing my mom's
Mm-hmm.
death with the year I was having. I wasn't playing basketball. I was alone. I was sad and a bad mix of so many things that was like just driving me crazy. I
Right.
was so depressed. Uh, what I like, I look back and I say, Maria, good job. I never stopped working out.
Mm-hmm.
I never stopped. I didn't give up on my classes. I had good grades.
Right.
I was doing extra gym. I was going extra to shoot. The things I could control.
Yeah,
I
of
mean,
course, of course, of
it
course.
was it was just like that. So by the end of the year, I just tell the coaches like, hey, I'm gone. I don't want to be here next year. My dreams are others. I know this is a good school, and I know this is a big school. We are in a good conference, talking about basketball wise, but it's just not gonna work for me here.
Mm-hmm.
And I need to find happiness in basketball again. I need to find myself in the game of basketball again. and I just transferred to Angel State D2 school in Texas, and it was the best decision.
Yeah.
Like Coach Shippy just opened her arms, in, like everything. Like she was my friend, she was my coach, she was my encourage. Like she was really good with me. Like she recruited me from my freshman year, so
Uh,
she knew all my transition. She knew all about my mom. She knew all about, and I guess when I decided to go to school, I just got blind by the fact that I wanted to go to a D1 school.
Everybody gets that so mixed up. The D1 gotta go D1. It's gotta be the
Yeah,
biggest. That and sometimes we don't look at what's best for us, but we look at what's the biggest thing, the shiny like going D1. But sometimes that's not always the best situation. But at least she was there for you and still showed her support by still bringing you on. And like you said, it was the best decision for
yeah.
you.
Yeah, and I was even good at everything around, like the place I was staying, like the money the school was helping us, like the teammates, the team was really good, and I recovered my confidence, I recovered my happiness in the game. Man, it was just a total different thing, and it was myself again, like
Right.
playing basketball. I was so nervous in Tegla. I was traveling with the ball. I was terrible, man. It was a whole awful year, awful year.
Man, when you're not when your mind is not there, and I feel like every basketball player has those moments where they be like, "Man, I suck. Like I just can't play right now. As good as you
Yeah, I was
are,
like that.
everybody, if you every basketball player has had that moment where it's just like, man, I
Yeah,
suck."
yes, but the important thing that I feel like I learned from my year at Tech was, man, like I got tougher, I guess.
Mm.
I mean, I say now it was an awful year, but I guess it taught me a lot,
Uh huh.
a lot of things that it made me became a better player, a better person. It made me grow. My last year at college, I enjoyed so much. After I was done with school and everything, I knew I had numbers. I knew I have something that to help me to pursue the last one
Hmm.
dream that be a pro player.
I got a question. So that time when you're at Tech, compare that to the conversation we had when we talked not too long ago.
Yeah,
Do you feel like that situation that you had there is something that helped you deal with this situation that you had? It looked like you're playing pretty
yeah,
good now, you know?
yeah, yeah. Because I was I told you
Hmm.
how I was feeling, and man, I just one thing one coach told me when I was in college is like the only thing you only put your head down is to work there.
Mm.
So I did that pretty much here too. I just say like, okay, it's about the stuff I told you, but I can't control that. The
Right.
only thing I can control is being in shape, is being clear in my mind, is being happy with myself, and I just focus on that and think it's better. Think
Yeah.
that's
It
got
look. I
better
mean, it
since we
looked better.
talked,
Yeah.
and we on the road to play the Final Four next weekend.
Next weekend.
So yeah, it's gonna be Neuquén, the south down,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
I'm happy, like yeah. I had a championship this year too in Colombia. We won the championship in Bucaramanga with the
Oh,
with,
okay.
with the Bucaramanga team. So I mean, it feels good.
It
I
does.
hope I start like a streak like you know,
Ah,
championships in a row.
I hope you get that too. So tell me a little bit about the differences from like playing in Colombia, or just tell me one of the biggest differences from playing from in America and playing in like foreign countries. You know.
Yeah, I admire so much the process, like the mindset that college um works. Like it's totally different. Like I feel I was lucky to leave my transition from like a regular player, college player, and a pro player, because like honestly, you became a pro player in college.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way that you have a preseason, like the way how you work during the season, and the way how you work in postseason, like it makes you better, and really makes you ahead of so many people of your age around the world,
Of course.
because that experience is really something that I believe many countries have
Adapt.
to look up and say like, hey, and copy, because it's working, it works. And I guess the biggest transition is like the difference is like, well, a season, like teams in during the season works differently. Like they don't have maybe the money or the time to spend to create a process like that, or a long process, 4 year process. And I mean, it's different. The basketball in the US is more faster. It's more like skills. It's more like, when I play in Europe, the basketball was slower. It was very like mm, technical, I guess.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if
Well,
I
you can use
understand myself
technical.
well, but
Yeah, you can say technical.
yeah, but in DA, if you are good, and you are good. I had teammates like they were really, really freaking good, and they can resolve the game. And they, you just give them the ball, and they just do their part, and they trust you also on your stuff. But it's a tough basketball too. Europe is a tough basketball too, and here in Latin America, I feel it's more like European basketball. I feel,
In Europe,
respecting some difference in the process and in the leagues, in the importance of the leagues. But we play more technical, and yeah, but definitely the basketball in the US is more quicker, is more tougher, is more, you know, like
yeah,
it's different, but I feel they're both good.
I feel like that's because, well, like in America, everybody's they have all the skills. They jump high. They're faster, and I feel like that's a problem. Not a problem, but that's why sometimes a lot of guys in America don't adjust to playing overseas, because you do have to like slow the game down sometimes and be more technical, because not everybody can run and jump as fast as you can, and they're not going to just give you the ball and say, "Hey, go score 30
Resolve.
every single time." You have to work this system. And some guys don't know how to really work the system because they're just so used to just running and jumping and dunking and playing crazy, really, you know.